Hello, Laura.
Hello,
and,
Kev.
Fantastic being with you here today on our wonderful radio show. So we're going to discuss a few things. Very pleased to be talking with you today. And it's
Thank you for having me on.
And it's great to have someone who's kind of partnering up on this. So we're going to look at
spreading the truth.
That's it. We're going to look at a number of things, COVID-centric, as it were. Some of the news items and things. So without further ado, shall we, as the Pinko Milton Trotskyite Christo Socialist Principal left-wing libtards might say, let's unpack this.
Yeah!
Okay, so I like that. Okay, you've got the job. Now then, so this is, this shames our city, says Mayor of Liverpool, Joe Anderton. He blasts. Imagine him blasting. Yeah. So he's blasting the city. And he's saying these pictures shame the city. This is the pre-new tough COVID-19 regulations that came into force. Everyone goes crazy. So, and nothing to do with the fact that everyone's slightly rat-arsed, as it were. So it shames the city. Well, that just looks like a normal. Must be shamed every night then. So, yeah. So, shaky camera work. It's all on Snapchat. There's... Okay, so that was...
risky news.
Yep. RI Sky News, or Risky, as we call it. Yeah, so that is bona fide news source, isn't it? So
we love Sky News.
Posted on social media, showed a group of people dancing. Andy Wells is a freelance writer. It's Yahoo News, and these types of articles tend to be possibly constructed. And I would say Joe Anderton is really saying what he's saying, of course, but around the journalism, what we'll call, you're seeing a plethora of these artificially kind of created news stories which are generated. I mean, Andy may very well exist, and I don't doubt it, and I'm sure he might even be listening stroke watching this, I don't know, but I somehow doubt it. The 3-tier restrictions came into place after that. So one clip posted on Snapchat was captioned herd immunity, which is what we see down here. While another video showed revelers singing together and apparently not following social distance and guidelines. But if you look at certain other political groups around the country, particularly in the big smoke there, London and all that, they seem to have a pass card.
How do you mean?
They don't get hassled.
Oh, like one rule for another.
So it's interesting, isn't it, that like working class people kind of just going out and,
going out and enjoying themselves because they can.
Yeah, while they can.
While they can, yeah.
Before they're stuck. What is the problem? So if Joe Anderson sees that as a shame, he calls it unacceptable. In footage of the incident apparently filmed from a nearby flat, right? Are there any flats in Concert Square?
No, I don't think in Concert Square. I know there's...
I don't think it's residential.
Bold Street, there's a few flats, but I don't think in Concert Square there's
it would
flats.
be Bold Street, wouldn't it? So anyway, a police car could be seen driving through the crowd while revellers bang their hands on the side of the vehicle. So, where Joe there, like, I'm not having this. See, The actions of some revellers was, quote, unacceptable. Do you see Joe Anderton as part of the problem?
Oh yeah, of course I do. He's pushing the narrative, and the Scousers aren't having it.
He's a gatekeeper, isn't he, for keeping the official narrative going. Like a large group of young partygoers who would define every single social distance and rule imaginable, and they have imagined quite a few, haven't they, when it comes to these, attacked a police car on Concert Square. But we've actually, since this has gone out, we've actually even spoke to certain, shall we say, members of the local law enforcement community in that there was no damage reported.
No, there was no and considering the article itself says they merely just banged their hands on the car. That's just them all going away to the car. So it's not really attacking the car. I mean, if they started throwing bricks and stuff, then fair enough. But
Yeah, exactly. Where's the footage? And the gravity of any article or story is in the last part. So it kind of finishes with that attacking a police car on Concert Square, which could be the headline, couldn't it?
And if you actually look at the other footage of it, which is from a like a bird's eye point of view, it shows you that bit where they smack the car. But that's all it is. They do it for a couple of seconds and then let it on through.
Yeah. Well, not having this, like,
Yeah, COVID may cause sudden permanent hearing loss. Sorry, did you say something?
What?
UK study finds, anyway. So in patients in intensive care. So if you actually look at the headline there, right, that's your clickbait there. And the strapline is kind of really gets to the meat of it, really, that it's only in intensive care. Okay, you need one of these as well. So it may cause sudden and permanent hearing loss, experts have found.
It's very particular, this virus, isn't it?
And these experts seem to be confounded by it. So what are they actually experts in? And of course, the government experts, so they're on a payroll. So they're not really going to say anything that, challenges the government narrative. So doctors have reported fresh evidence that COVID...
Fresh evidence?
Yeah, could also affect...
I like how... Right, that's the trick with the media. Could. It's always could. And maybe. Nothing's ever certain. Nothing is certain about COVID, but people don't click onto that.
Also is used as well as a pre-qualifier. So... BMJ journal, which is a British medical journal. Experts at University College London,
experts?
Right, report the case of a 45-year-old man with asthma who was admitted to intensive care with COVID, ventilated and given drugs, including antiviral, whatever that is, and intravenous steroids.
God.
Right, so, wow, he'll be leaving any day now, won't he? A week after leaving intensive care, he developed a ringing sound, tinnitus, and then the hearing loss in his left ear. So it's got to be COVID, doesn't it?
It has to be.
It's a done deal.
Kev, everything's COVID.
See, I got this up to say...
You get hit by a bus and it's COVID.
To challenge, well, look at George Floyd, tested positive for COVID. So, yes, I went there. Okay, so... it's a team, so they've got corporate responsibility, say none of the medications the man was given would be expected to cause damage to his hearing. He's already got other things, so it's with, isn't it? It's complementary.
COVID is
a with thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's participating to what's already there, because clearly this fella's had underlying health problems. COVID has not caused the hearing loss. Hang
on, you're not an expert, you can't say that.
Oh, I'm so right. Well, neither are they.
Doctors and scientists never get it wrong. They never kill anyone.
Never get it wrong, no.
Never harm anyone. And
they always tell you the truth. They tell you the science without getting paid, to tell you what they're paid to tell you. It's always the truth.
The modern day prophets, aren't they?
Yeah.
They take a hypocritical oath.
The doctors that do care about the public health, and the doctors that have been questioning the narrative, the doctors that are not paid to tell you what they're paid to tell you.
Yeah, independent. Yeah.
Independent doctors, because they're not political, are being dismissed. But when you when you listen to what they've got to say, the science makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's the truth.
In fact, their science makes more sense, because you and I both shared a platform with Dr. Kevin P. Corbett, right?
Yeah.
And, if you check his Twitter feed and the presentation he gave about the aerosol effect of COVID, he's clearly well-researched, knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And he can tell you're in a safe pair of hands. A thoroughly nice chap as well, by the way. And someone who genuinely cares, and he's put his neck out. And he's not the only one to do it, of course. We may look at some of the other doctors who've done this, but they're in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands possibly.
Yeah.
But it's in the very, very high tens of thousands of significant doctors who are heads of faculties and departments and heads of research, but who aren't necessarily directly funded by governments or in the pocket of big pharma to that extent. And they've been brave enough to... care enough about people to call out the lie. as it were. And that's where it's really at, is about calling it out for what it is. Because what they're saying is that there's no evidence for it.
Because a lot of the NHS doctors, not just the political doctors, the NHS doctors as well, a lot of them have came out to speak about the truth of what's happening, because they're on the front line, they're in the midst of it all. Some of them are seeing it for what it is.
It becomes like a map that becomes so realistic in its detail, and ends up bearing no resemblance to any real geography. As we see with the corona model, which is the virus itself. It started off as a kind of flat slice of orange with some spiky things coming off it under the microscope. Right, you know what it looks like, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, that kind of...
Looks like a little ball with spikes on it.
Yeah, it's like a planet, isn't it? What you said earlier. A planet, a moon.
A planet with trees.
That's not what it looks like.
No.
Well, it's roughly, so it's got to be correct. So
I'm not buying that picture, Kev.
Well, what I've got to tell you is...
I want to see what it really looks like.
That apparently is it. It's not a spit or a mistake or something like that you've got growing under your armpit, right? It's actually what you call the optic structural level of it, what it actually looks like.
Yeah.
And it's in black and white because they can't use colour at that level. So what they do, this is where we come to simulation about things, where what we said earlier about something in great detail becomes a reality. When we talked about, although it may bear no resemblance whatsoever to the real thing.
Yeah.
So that's what it looks like down the microscope.
That is coronavirus.
And not even that, really, because it's black and white, because it's so deep into what you call the optic structural level that that's as close as they can get it, and it's not possible to render it in colour.
Right. So everything else beyond that is left to the imagination, basically.
Well, they came up with this next.
It's the sun.
Yeah, so they've
suns.
artificially coloured it. Whenever you see anything like this under a microscope, it's artificially coloured. They put a dye in the slide.
Right, okay.
And they say it's to bring out the details, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
And I accept that. I accept that, Laura.
Do you, Kev?
But what I don't accept... What I don't accept...
What he doesn't accept is...
A freaking cartoon, right? So, wow, that's it there.
See, it's the moon with little red trees on.
And it's got, and
the little orange and yellow ones popping up as well.
And people into photography
Dandelions.
will note that it's got a very short, narrow depth of field, which is why this bit is all focused and then it's all fuzzy around the side. And apparently it's in a kind of a space thing, and it's blood red as well.
Yeah, the colours don't make it look very pretty either. So you would look at that and think, oh,
that looks. It's got all nature's danger colours, hasn't it? Of black and amber and red.
Yeah.
So anything in nature that's black, amber, red is danger, and like the bumblebees and red ants and stuff like that. It's a universal warning. So that's why your blood's red, apparently. It's why the eye is more responsive to blood. To red is the most responsive colour.
Right.
Human
okay.
eye. The least
Learn
is
something new every day.
The least is green. Yeah, which could be why they did the Matrix in that colour, but that's another story. So so it's gone from that
to a nice big 3D ball.
So I'm buying it. Are you?
I'm totally buying it. Yeah.
It's a bit like War of the Worlds, you see. I reckon it started with H.G. Wells, about where something so tiny and small that swarms and multiplies in a drop of water can kill, right? Beyond the visual that you can't see with your naked eye.
Yeah. This is so deadly. Washing your hands for 20 seconds kills it. Not 21 seconds.
And don't forget, you've got to have a test to see if you've got it.
Exactly. That's how deadly it is.
And it's a wonderful strategy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It works brilliantly.
And a piece of fabric across your face will protect you from catching it.
What was that analogy we had?
The chain link fence.
To stop
mosquitoes.
That's basically it, yeah. Because it's all about scale, you see.
It is, and it's so deadly. It's actually being able to develop a mind of its own.
And a clock.
And a clock, and a what? Yeah, a clock, a calendar, and a tape measure.
It just knows everything. Yeah, and not just a tape measure. It can read maps as well. So we're up against something pretty deadly here.
Yeah, I mean, because it didn't want to get Sweden. It's left Sweden alone. Sweden's its favourite country.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
It doesn't like anywhere else.
Clip.
Should we have a look at Sweden's clip? Yeah.
Let's have a look at those crazy Swedes.
Hello everybody, my name is Svetlana. Today is October 12, 2020. Now it's about 5 o'clock, Monday.
So it's 5 o'clock Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In Sweden.
In Sweden, yeah. I recorded this because I don't. It's kind of all over the internet like a rash, but it's very interesting because this is October the 12th, right? Which is kind of like the height of lockdown here.
Yes.
He said, slightly future-proofing our broadcast.
And we're going to see how does Sweden go with all the coronavirus situation, the public transport, the masks, and the social distance.
You on the bike. See, crazy
You can see
Swedes.
plenty of people and
Totally crazy
people
Swedes.
outside as well, people inside.
It's a pandemic, man. What's wrong with them?
You're killing people.
Wake up.
You know, wouldn't you feel a right pillock going on there with British Transport Police uniform
Yes.
and dragging someone out of the chair who says they've got an exemption? I mean, that's what we've come to.
That entire train has exemptions.
So very interesting, the walk through there and picking his nose then. Do you see that? Let's have a look at that
Oh,
again.
there's just
He's-
one.
So he's just picking his nose again. With you on camera? Yeah, go on, mate. Go on. Go pick as a winner. So
Oh, he's looked at the camera as well. He must have
I
felt
know
bad
it's
after
like
that.
millions of people
Oh,
are looking at you. So that's why you
Oh,
shouldn't
dear.
wear a mask. How are you going to pick your nose?
That's why you should wear one in case you want to. So I'm just adjusting it.
So yeah.
Oh, dear me.
So what do you make of that then, Laura?
Good on Sweden. Everybody should be following in Sweden's footsteps because Sweden know, well, yeah, they know the truth.
They're really the benchmark, aren't they? Mm-hmm. But it's always been like that. It's same in Iceland. I don't mean
Yeah.
the supermarket.
Oh,
Right.
I thought.
Yeah, I'm talking about Reykjavik. You know, everyone's just carrying on as normal. Those crazy
Yes.
scandals, you know.
I don't even know how Sweden isn't enough for people to question it because, you know, we've been in the pandemic for 8 months. 10 months now. Yeah, 8 months.
Yeah, but
7, 8 months.
we're not getting reports of these
when
places.
we're not, that's the thing. Then that's why people aren't questioning. But when they are presented with the way Sweden is, it's not enough for them to go, oh well, hang on a minute, because everybody on that train should be dead if it's that deadly.
Yeah.
The evidence on masks has always been weak.
Dodgy, I'd say.
And it's never changed since April.
What date? April the 1st.
Whatever date COVID decided. We've got this video here, which is from Keep Britain Free.
Keep Britain
And
free!
It's basically the government exposing it, basically.
When the evidence around the use of masks by the general public, especially outdoors, is extremely weak.
The evidence on face masks has always been quite variable, quite weak, quite difficult to know exactly, and there's no real trials on it.
In terms of wearing a mask, our advice is clear that wearing a mask if you don't have an infection really reduces the risk almost not at all.
The recommendation from SAGE is completely clear, which is that there is weak evidence of a small effect in which a face mask can prevent a source of infection going from somebody who is infected to the people around them.
Don't let it happen. It depends on you.
Yes, very good. Keep Britain free.
Depends on you, Kev.
Yes, on us.
So,
God help them. Yeah, very good compilation there.
so we've got that.
Yeah.
But then I found the SAGE document on masks back in June or July. I should have saved it, but it did indeed confirmed that the evidence on masks was weak, and that had never changed even up until the point I found it. Now when you try and look for it, it's difficult to find. You've really got to do your digging for it.
It's gone into the rat runs of the internet,
yes,
if it's there at all.
If it hasn't been removed yet. So there's the government admitting that the transmission, the effects of the transmission is weak.
The mosquitoes through the
exactly, the mosquitoes through the chain link fence.
The aerosol effect, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Dr. Kevin P. Corbett pointed out.
And here they are. This was at the time they were about to mandate them 3 months in. Can we add 3 months in? And again, they keep on pushing the mask. You know, it's getting to the point where they're potentially going to say you've got to wear them outdoors now. But you show this to people. You show this to your masked wearers. And this is blatant evidence, blatant lies right in front of them, and they totally dismiss it.
So it's like they were all in favour of not wearing masks to start with, and then suddenly it changed, but everyone's following it.
Exactly.
They're all buying it like climate change and toilet roll.
And pasta. Pasta went to pasta.
Oh, that's what I forgot from the shop.
Pasta and toilet roll are going to save you from in a global
and yet
pandemic.
The two don't go together because one bungs you up and never mind. Anyway, let's go there.
That's for another. There's your proof. There's your evidence, and I've been challenged on this, and I've showed people who've challenged me this video, and they've still gone, yeah, but it's protecting people. And I'm like, but the government have just said it's not. It doesn't do any good. So
they've got maybe they've got COVID and they've got that short-term brain fog memory thing. Do you think?
Maybe they can't hear what the government is saying.
That's the other thing as well. Yeah, the hearing thing.
Yeah, it's funny how it's picked on 3 of the senses now, isn't it? It's got to get to the 5th.
Well,
it's going to make you blind next, and then your fingertips are going to go numb.
Well, there's 2 senses it'll never touch. One is common sense. The least common of all senses, my God.
There's one lie exposed, and then if we look at the government website, which this is easy to find, they downgraded the virus on the 19th of March, 4 days before lockdown. So that begs the question, why did we go into lockdown if it's no longer a threat?
So we could come back to the idea of it being, around the idea that the 2008 crash, fiat currency, printing money to the point of abuse, which doesn't exist to buy up assets that belong to people and the world and things, and that's finally crashed. This is just an idea, folks, okay? And sorts of
just another conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it's a damn good one. Who can resist that? They're crashing the economy now to make everyone go back to the banks, and the way they've done it is they've rolled it out through a virus that really actually. The numbers certainly don't add up, do they?
They don't, and it's never been isolated either. And there's evidence on that. There was a Freedom of Information request sent in to Public Health England to ask for evidence of isolation of the virus, and they, in their words, we do not hold that information. We cannot provide you with that information.
You can't get sick pay for being diagnosed with COVID or suffering from it.
No.
Can't get sickness benefit
no sick
or anything?
Pay, no.
No? So how bad
well, there
is
you
it
go
then?
Exactly. Not at all.
I mean, the more you look at it, it's like you're trying to find the evidence, and the more you look, the more questions you have. And the dodgier the official narrative is.
Exactly. And half the time, the evidence isn't there to back up the claims that we're being told. So
and the other thing is...
I say half the time, it's practically not there at all, is it really?
Well, if we may get into just one word, evidence, right? Now, we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
And it's not evidence, is it? It's proof.
Proof, yes.
Because evidence can point any way, can't it? It can point...
Yeah, evidence points you in loads of different... Because you find evidence, then you say, oh, well, where's the evidence for the evidence and stuff? But if you've got the solid proof, that you can't go beyond that.
And also evidence can be used to fit someone up.
Exactly.
A story or to make it look like, the evidence indicated.
Yeah.
So in a court of law, it's proof, and in a proper, true academic setting, you need proof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we've had no proof. That's the status of it. So all you have to do, you just have to type in COVID-19 downgrade into, I'll say DuckDuckGo because Google censors a lot of things now.
Whack. Sorry.
Hey, we need that sound effect on it, don't we?
It's coming.
Yeah, so first thing that pops up is this, nice and easy to find, and there it is, right in front of your face. So is no longer considered to be a high consequence infectious disease. So why did we go into lockdown? Why are we being told that we're still threatened?
It's a
considering to the government.
Disproportionate response, isn't it?
Indeed,
we could say
yes.
that about everything. That it's disproportionality. It's certainly disproportionate response.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's your proof.
Patrick Henningsen, who does 21st Century Wire, and he does UK Column as well, which is one of the news. Well, both of those are really good. And he very graciously shared my Rick Hack video. So you got a great formula there, Kev.
Dear.
Anyway, the thing is, he's posted this about Liverpool. So I don't know what you think. It's fascism in #Liverpool. This is where we're at, is what he says. So let's have a look at this. And
Armed police.
Yeah, let's have a look at this. So
the People's Gym.
We have just received our first £1,000 fine at Bodytech. After meeting with the police yesterday, they told us we'd get warning first day, and then a second warning, £100 fine, £200 fine, and so on. They were with us this morning, gave us a warning, come back this afternoon, orders from their top boss, issue a fine straight away. So,
well, just to clarify, if anyone who's listening outside of Scousland, yeah, it's just a gym which is defying the
basically saying no.
So you're seeing a scale of fine. So so that's to put it in some kind of context. So let's listen.
They told us close immediately or take £1,000 fine. And obviously, we still had quite a lot of members training. I said to the officers, I said, I'm not asking anybody to leave. Even if I am, I'm going to let them finish their sessions first. So they've issued the fine. First one's 1,000. They can come back in 3 hours, issue 2,000. 3 hours after that, 4,000.
So let me just say there as well, it's not a fine, right? They're called fines, but only a court and a judge can issue a fine.
True.
Penalty notice to charge. They're offering them, offer consideration and acceptance.
Yeah.
Here's what it is. But you see, because he's a business owner, he's registered. And a bit like all the institutions and things that are registered, which is another area of discussion, by the way. If you're a common law citizen, sovereign individual, if you're exerting your common law rights, then you don't have to consent. But as a business owner, you compromise because it's your business. But if they were trying to stick that on me, and I've said it from day one, I don't pay anything like that because I don't have to. You've got to show where there's a victim created loss, harm or damage to personal property. And that's the highest law. But under commercial law, it comes under the jurisdiction of the magistrates and HMRC and all those kinds of things. So, but it's still, though, the inaccuracy there is that it's still not a fine. It's a penalty notice to charge for offer consideration and acceptance. Right. So here's the offer. It's an invoice, really, for your consideration. Do you accept it? But if they gave that to me for some kind of mandated thing or a statute, act or regulation, then I don't have to consent. But this chap and these businesses do, because they've got, it's not the police's fault, by the way. We've got to we're not anti-police or anything. It's not their fault. They're told what to do.
They're following orders
as well. I know that sounds a bit sort of, back in the day, but it's not really, police as well. All people in all the different institutions, including teaching and, as we've discussed, the NHS, they don't really, a lot of them don't like what's going on.
They're stuck in the middle, really, aren't they? Yeah.
And if we get time, we'll have a look at some of the programming that we were looking at in deciding what we're going to put into this, which is conformity stuff as well. Mm-hmm. But I think part of this is to get people to be anti-police as well.
It's a divide and conquer tactic, because it's turning people, it's like, oh, well, the police have police keep issuing fines, police keep, dispersing protests and stuff, and it's turning people against the police. But you've got to remember, they are doing a job. It's the people who are telling them what to do. They're the problem.
And they take this oath, and it's a whole system. It's all to do with the doctors are under the same stuff as well, and the teachers as well. So everyone's in the same boat, sort of thing. And that's what they really mean, I think, when they're using the double speak of we're all in this together. When you look at the language and how it's used, who's we and all together in what. So let's just have a look at what he says there.
They sent out 7 or 8 firearms officers. What a waste of resources. This is fucking nuts, guys. It really is. It's nuts.
Yeah.
One of the guys has set up a GoFundMe page to try and tackle some of these fines. I'll put it in the link in this video. And
very brave guy.
The website section on my Instagram bio. Some good news. We had good press this morning. We had Sky on site. We had BBC, ITV, Channel 4. We've had tons of support. As you've all seen all over social media, we've had tons and tons of support. We had a Zoom call today with the CEO of David Lloyd's. They're backing us. Pure Gym are backing us.
That's interesting, isn't it? David Lloyd's are backing them. Did you know that at all?
No, I didn't know that at all. I mean, it's no surprise that all the mainstream media jumped straight on this, but no, I didn't know that.
I find that quite surprising. Yeah. So interesting. Well, things are slowly turning, which we're going to come on to, aren't we?
Yes.
We are going to be heard in Parliament, guys. We're so close. I feel like we're only a day or two away. We've potentially got a Zoom call with the Mayor of Wirral this afternoon. Well, he has taken a few hours to get back with us with what time he wants to do it. We're close. We're close, and we need to keep fighting, and we need you guys to keep supporting us. Please, now more than ever, keep fighting the good fight.
It's not nice. It's I mean, because this is how they've got you. So many people, even people who've got businesses who don't agree with COVID and maybe think like us. They still, for the sake of keeping their businesses and keeping themselves stable, they still end up complying with the business policies, and it's a shame to see, but it's this guy could make a massive difference, because if as horrible as it is to potentially, because he has got the potential now to lose his business because he's saying no to it, and as horrible as that is as that could be, this situation, it's all about saying no, because it is like it's
consenting,
not consenting. Yeah, it is tyranny.
It requires consent and conformity to work.
Exactly, and without that, it can't happen. If everyone at the start of this had just said no, we're not having it, and actually listened to what they're being told and thought, hang on a minute, something's not right, and then if this couldn't happen, we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now. But I am glad to see this happening, because it needs to happen. More people, whether you believe COVID or not, you see, stand up to it, because
beliefs are. We've discussed this before. Beliefs are what destroy the world. You either know or you don't know.
Yeah.
Some things you can believe in, but it's about an inner knowing within yourself, your own gnosis.
Yeah.
Not what you get from a book. Although books can be the mules that get you to the door, but not necessarily the means by which you may enter the house.
But books are that's the information that you use to form your opinions and your beliefs.
Yeah. So and things like the American Constitution, the Charter of Liberties, Magna Carta, and stuff like that. People say, yeah, but they're just bits of paper, but no, those things don't give you the rights. They're there to remind people who want to take your rights away that there is a pre-existing, a forensic, tangible, historic document. This was written in, 1214 or wherever.
Yeah.
In a field in England somewhere, and this is where we get our... And before that, you've got a thing called Alfred's Dome, right? King Alfred.
Yeah.
Which it's based on that. And this is where we get common law for. It's called common law because it's the most common law of the land. It's very simple. No loss, harm or damage to personal property. No victim created. And it's a very simple. And if you do create a victim, then you need to be brought before your peers. It's not a perfect system. But what you're seeing now is a commercial law taking over everything, people's rights and freedoms.
It's scaremongering. It's fear tactic.
The pro-COVIDians and the coronavarians, or whatever you want to call them, the coronavarians are coming. Will say, it's killing everyone, but they're just repeating a mantra.
Exactly.
They're denying your freedom of thought, and where's the discretion in anything? That's all gone out the window.
Just on that, you've got people saying you're killing people, but these are the same people that will happily go and have a drink in the pub. But, you'll have people who'll put the mask on in the shop because, they've been told to do it and they believe it's for the greater good. They think, I'm protecting the people in the shop. But then... that wasn't the policy for the pubs, so they'll happily go into the pub without the mask on. But what's the difference? Because you
Corona is intelligent, it knows.
At the time, Corona does not want to have a drink yet. That's why I brought in the curfew.
Yeah, someone said to me today in the shop about masks. I was chatting to her, and it's a friend of mine, and she can't stand the masks. She's having real trouble, and quite a number of people are. I don't wear a mask, and I'm not bothered about it. I won't have a go at anyone if anyone was to have a go at me. If I was challenged or whatever, it's none of their business, sort of thing. If we look at this film, which is They Live, right? It's made in 1988, and it's actually got some very important messages, I think. So basically, he finds these glasses, right? And they reveal the world.
Oh, dear.
But this has become more relevant now than when it was made in the 80s,
Oh, God, yeah.
So for you listening, it's Come to the Caribbean, sort of hoarding. And then when you put the glasses, married, reproduce, hidden message. It's a great film. It's not his best film, but it's got some really great things.
But it gets the point across, doesn't it? It gets the message across.
So we've all had this moment ourselves, haven't we?
Yeah.
At some point.
Yes. No independent thought. Consume. God.
That's a great one there, isn't it?
Yeah, no sleep, submit,
We've got the thoroughfare,
TV. Love that watch TV. That's, oh, God, yeah.
And there's another one a bit later on. I see Stay Asleep, which is here. And it's just repeating the same stuff. Look, at the top there, no thought.
Buy, consume, obey, submit, sleep.
So he goes to buy a magazine. The thing is, all the magazines are controlled by 5 corporations.
Well, magazines are mainstream, really, aren't
and
they?
Online,
And
it's not changed. Yeah.
Magazines, newspapers, online, TV.
This is another revelation with this fellow who is another customer.
What's your problem?
Oh my God.
Gosh.
I said, what's your problem?
I'm not saying you like that if you wear a mask, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh dear. I like the metaphor of the
zombie
and the sunglasses as well, because you put sunglasses on to stop yourself from being blinded, so the dark, you can barely see out it. Being blind.
And sunglasses can filter as well, so
yes, and that's what, when you're so when you're programmed, that's all you can see.
This is how you're starting to feel if you don't wear a mask, isn't it? You feel like out of place.
Yeah.
It's a very good metaphor.
I don't know what to do. Hey, go for it, man. It's easy for you to say you got the promotion. It'll come, all right? Just don't worry about it.
So
The feeling is definitely there. It's
we know why you got the job.
America. Fresh, vital. The old cynicism is gone.
So you haven't seen this. What are you?
No,
tell me your reaction.
It's baffling because considering this was in the 80s as well, but it's ahead of its time. But it puts it into perspective.
It seems incredibly relevant.
Yeah,
this wouldn't get made now, do you think?
No, oh God, no. They would not allow this on
Maybe
TV at all.
independently they might.
Yeah.
Because they're always after the money. You see.
It's always follow the money, but it really puts it into perspective. I think everybody needs a pair of those sunglasses.
As to what becomes of it all, it really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism. There are no limits.
We've kind of had enough at this point.
Something like this.
I know I've skipped it forward a bit. So.
Excuse me.
You know, you look like your head fell on the cheese dip back in 1957. You're okay. This one, real fucking ugly.
Sorry about the language there. Right, so let's just skip this forward just a fraction because he falls over.
From the cops. You know what you need? You need a Brazilian plastic surgeon.
They call the cops.
I've got one that can see.
Whoa.
Oh, I haven't seen this bit. I haven't seen this far into it.
Now look what happens.
Oh, that's not. Oh.
Caucasian male.
I don't like that.
Doesn't appear armed. Wearing sunglasses.
I don't like this one bit. Not one bit.
I think they should remake this. It's a bit close to the old COVID thing, isn't it?
Yes. I didn't like that scene. I've got one that can see. Oh
It's
my God,
all
no.
a bit.
But it's that thing again, you know.
It's a John Carpenter film. They live.
I'm want to watch this. I'm gonna have to watch it properly. But like that scene in particular, it's it's robots. It's robots, and that's the way they want people to be. Is just do as you're told, and just don't think for yourself. Do as you're told, and just be robotic.
Yes, so I'm the coronavirus, and I've really enjoyed this. I don't like really what you've been saying about me, really.
Laura, right, it's been fantastic chatting with you because you're very switched on with everything. Where you kind of came to prominence was the steps of St. George's Hall. So
yes.
Was that Save Our Rights, was it?
Yeah, so say it was a Save Our Rights organised protest, and on the 8th of August, that was when the
in Lime Street,
masks,
Liverpool.
Yeah. So it all just started from there. Really, I just decided, as someone from the young generation, needs to get the ball rolling with it, because I mean, I'm sure the video reached 500,000 people, so I'm sure many people have seen it.
Yeah.
So I don't really need to say much on it.
More
really.
viral than the virus.
Yeah. I went around the world in 15 minutes.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Thank you. I'm now volunteering as the youth advocate with the organisation, and I've already managed to get a few young people on board as well, who were willing to take a stand with me.
And then you spoke at Trafalgar Square.
I did, yes,
and,
in London. That was a big step up. Piers Corbyn was there as well.
Now, Piers Corbyn, he's the older, wiser, more sensible brother of Jeremy Corbyn.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
I believe so.
So we've got lots more to talk about,
Indeed.
and the best is yet to come.
Indeed, plenty.
So I hope everyone enjoyed listening to it and watching the clips.
Thank you for tuning in.
And we'll put some more stuff together.
Until next time.